Dr. John W. Scott was an educator, researcher, and administrator of wildlife conservation. Scott moved to Laramie in the fall of 1913 to work as a professor of zoology and a research parasitologist at the University of Wyoming. He would eventually lead the zoology department as chairman and department head, was the director of the pre-medical course, and oversaw the creation of a Bachelor of Science degree in conservation and game management in 1939. During his tenure, Scott was called upon in 1935 by Governor Leslie Miller to guide a committee to revamp Wyoming's wildlife laws. This came as a result of measures to move away from political interests controlling wildlife conservation efforts and to separate conservation departments from direct interference from governors and state legislators. In 1925, state legislation created a nonpartisan six-member wildlife commission, the Wyoming Game and Fish Commission, that exists today. It took a decade to implement, forming in 1935. Scott was one of 8 delegates, along with Governor Miller from the state of Wyoming, who attended the North American Wildlife Conference called for by President Franklin Roosevelt. The meeting was the genesis of the General Wildlife Federation, which is now the National Wildlife Federation. Soon after, Scott was appointed as the first secretary of the Game and Fish Commission under the new code in February of 1937. He removed political appointees, formed an investigation division to conduct wildlife research, and provided a fair method of reimbursement for warden vehicle expenses. Returning to the university, he continued his teaching and mentorship and was widely regarded as an influential mentor to some of Wyoming's leading conservationists, including James R. Simon, a former Hall of Fame inductee. Scott passed away in 1956.